Sanlam Investment Management, a subsidiary of Sanlam Investments, has repositioned itself as the investment manager of choice for both active and passive strategies. That was demonstrated recently with the acquisition of the portion of Satrix it didn't already own. Sanlam Investments now spans 15 specialized investment and wealth management businesses across 4 continents. Johan van der Merwe, CEO of Sanlam Investments, is in our Cape Town studio. Hello, Johan.
Hello, Erika.
And I'm going to jump right in there with the fact that you've got these 15 component businesses. And to me, this has been a trend that we've seen. We saw in past years, you had the big institutional asset managers, and then with time, you had the boutique investors establishing, with the star investors hiving off on their own. And the institutional investors, such as yourselves, have reacted by setting up these boutique investment houses within your homes. Is this working?
Yeah, I believe it is working. I've got a very firm belief in people, and if you make people responsible and keep them accountable for their specific units, I think more often than not they will actually surprise you on the upside. I think it is where people feel that they've got, they're empowered and they've got ownership of their areas, and that's how we drive those businesses. Obviously, it's a conglomerate of businesses, so we try to leverage off one another as well. But they're also autonomous in many respects in order to win in the specific competitive arena that they play in.
Has it influenced performance, the underlying performance of those fund managers?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, as I say, because they take ownership of that and they eat what they kill. So people really try their best. I think performance is something that will come and go, as you see with many asset managers. But I think at the margin, we've actually performed better than say before we've had this structure in place.
Johan, just to ask you, I mean, we talk about this acquisition that you've done with Satrix of the half that you didn't already own, and it's a really strong brand in the passive investing space. Is that the kind of stick you can beat your active fund managers with, just to keep them on their toes?
Yeah, we hope that we can use that stick to hit the whole market on the active side. I think a lot of people thought that buying that it may cannibalize our active side, but I think the passive side is going to cannibalize the active market as a whole, and not necessarily our own managers out there. We've seen this trend, worldwide, where there's huge growth on the passive side. But on the other hand, I believe there's space for both active and passive in the market, and in a portfolio construction, it makes sense to actually use both. Because Satrix is such a strong brand, we believe we are following the right strategy to own 100% of it now and to really push that brand further into the market.
I think it's a really exciting development for investors, and obviously with the ability to sell both products or have both products on the same platform in terms of lists, it's going to make it a lot easier for investors to access. What many viewers don't appreciate is how big your Sanlam Private Investments business has become, operating on I think 4 different continents. I think if you could just give us some sense when you meet with business people and people offshore of where South Africa stands at this point, because obviously the rand has blown out this week, and it's some have said a litmus test for some of the policies and the problems we have facing the country. Where do you see South Africa at this point through the eyes of foreign investors?
Yeah, I think foreign investors, South Africa is quite a small investment destination, if one looks at, places like the States and Europe, etc. But, I think what's happening in the country, especially with the strikes at the mines, etc., those things are not good for South Africa. And people worry. They are looking for yield, and South Africa is a place where they can find yield. So if we can get our act together there, I think we would be a very attractive investment destination. But at the moment, I think people are just scared and very wary of South Africa, and that's why you also see the rand where it is at this point in time. But I believe that things will normalize again, and we will probably see the rand strengthening again, because we believe it's a bit overdone at this point in time.
I think just from a perspective point of view, obviously we have our own problems, and Europe and the States has their own problems. What's your take on developments in Europe, in particular around being able to fund a potential sovereign bailout for the likes of Spain and some of the other periphery European countries?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a question on everyone's mind, Warren, and I wish we had the answer for those. But just in our view, we believe that they don't really have a choice but to sort things out there. It's not going to be that easy. I believe that people really kind of like didn't pay that much attention to material differences in Europe with regards to productivity, GDP growth, and also fiscal discipline in that place. And because they've had one currency now, I think the international market quite erroneously looked at those ones, and you could see that bond yields converging to more or less the same. But still, Spain is a very different country to Germany, etc. And if they don't sort it out, I think we will all going to be worse off. And but they will have to come to the party. I think there's a real willingness. It's just difficult with so many different parties playing a role there, because people compare Europe to the UK and to the US, where you probably have the same, if not worse, debt levels. But those are countries that are one country. They've got fiscal discipline in those countries, and I think they've got a better chance of sorting it out than Europe. But as I say, Europe doesn't really have a choice but to sort it out. And I just hope that we don't see a default, because that could really create a domino effect, and it could really cascade to the rest of the world markets as well.
Johan, one of the consequences of this financial crisis, and dating back to 2008 and probably even before that, has been greater regulation of financial markets, but also of institutional investors and what happens to pension funds. How have you seen this? Has it constrained your doing of business, and how have you adapted to that?
Yeah. Erica, not really. I mean, for us, we welcome the regulation. I think from a Sanlam point of view, we've always had very, very high standards of compliance, of ethical behavior, of transparency, etc. So, obviously we look at the regulation, but, for ourselves, we don't have to change that much. Obviously, maybe you have to fill out a form now, to show the compliance, but, it is very much in line with our whole culture and maybe the credibility that Sanlam has built up over 94 years. I think it's a good thing that the regulation coming in. I think it's a good thing that there's more transparency, trying to simplify things. I had to write some of these exams myself, like the key individual exam.
Did you pass the first time?
And even I learned a few things out there. And I think it's important to do that, because at the end of the day, I believe the consumer and the investor out there will be better off with all of this regulation. At one stage, we thought that self-regulation would make it, but that was tested, and us as an industry, probably disappointed ourselves in not being able to self-regulate, and that's why the authorities have to come with us. So I think it's one of these things that we have to live with. But from a Sanlam perspective, as I say, it's not having such a huge effect on us.
Yeah, and just some of the big changes that are coming in terms of regulation is some of the reform to the retirement savings products and vehicles that National Treasury have been talking about for some time. What's your take on some of the recent reform proposals that they've put to the market and around regulating and trying to make retirement savings more efficient for South Africans?
Warren, by and large, I think those are good as well. I just hope that they really enter into public-private partnerships and allow the private market to actually sort out many of those issues. Give the guidance, put the policies in place, etc., but then leave it up to the private market to sort out. I think Sanlam, a number of years ago, we brought out a guy called Jose Pinera from Chile, and he was really the father of their reform at that point in time, and it's been hugely successful. And we had a roadshow across South Africa, to talk about the national social security system and what is needed to really make that successful. I think at that point in time there was a certain timeline as to when they want to introduce these reforms, etc. We always knew it was perhaps a little bit ambitious, but it's important to talk about those things and to get that right, because I read the other day that only 6% of South Africans retire comfortably, and that is just wrong. you know, and we have a huge task to make people retire with dignity and go into their old age with dignity and try to improve lives.